Welcome, welcome, welcome. City of Lamarque, City Council Special Agenda, February 3rd, 2025. Notice is hereby given that the City of Lamarque, Texas will conduct a special meeting on February 3rd, 2025, beginning at 10 a.m. Thank you for your patience. It's been a certainly trying morning for some of us on council, but we are here. Council chambers at 1109 B Bayou Road, Lamarque, Texas, as well as via video conference hosted through Zoom. In accordance with Section 551.127B of the Texas Local Government Code, a presiding officer and a quorum of the Lamarque City Council intend to be and will physically be present at 1109 B Bayou Road, Lamarque, Texas. This location will be open to the public. The meeting will be broadcast at this location on Channel 16 and via YouTube. The council will meet for the purpose of considering the following agenda. The meeting has been called to order. Kiera, would you give us a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember District A.
Present.
Councilmember District B.
Present.
Councilmember District C.
Present.
And can you give your location, please?
2503 Cedar Drive, Lamarque, Texas.
Thank you, sir. And Councilmember District D.
Present.
And Mayor.
Present. Thank you, Kiera. We will now have our invocation and pledge. If you are able, let us stand. Gus, would you lead us in our pledge? I'm not going to ask you to pray. Let's pray. Eternal God, we are certainly delighted at your presence here with us today. We are grateful that you have decided, Lord, to entrust us, not only this council, those appointed officials, but this entire community with this great gift that we call Lamarque. God, we pray that you would lead us and guide us to do what's in the best interest of all of our citizens, to the glory of your name. We trust you, we believe in you, and we thank you in advance. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gus. We're now at citizens' participation limited to 3 minutes. Comments from the public will be heard at this time. Any person with city-related business who has signed up to speak may speak to council, limited to 3 minutes. If you're wishing to speak, give the mayor or the presiding officer your full legal name, your address, and the item you wish to speak about. The item you wish to speak about. Compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the city may not deliberate on comments. Personal attacks will not be allowed, and personnel matters should be addressed to the city manager during normal business hours. Press *6 to mute or unmute yourself if you're participating via telephone. If you're participating via Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer, there should be a microphone icon in the lower portion of your screen. If you are participating with us in person, there is a podium and a microphone at the center aisle. When your name is called, you will be heard at that time. Vinny, are there any persons online wishing to speak?
No, sir.
Kiara, are there any persons who have filled out the application to speak in person?
No, sir.
Very good. Let's move now to item 5. Items presented to council for discussion, possible action. Let's see. Council, there are 3 items of business that are timely. They're dealing with the element of time. I would like to move to item 5.3, 5.4, and 5.5, if that's okay, council.
That's fine.
Without objection. We're moving now to item 5.3. This is a change order, number 6, sanitary sewer rehabilitation, authorizing change order number 6 for the citywide sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, resulting in a contract increase of $115,830. Good morning, Shannon. How are you? I assume that you're going to explain this $115,830 to us.
Yes, sir. So the original contract amount was $5,632,000, and with the previous change order, y'all have approved 1 through 5, including these next 3 change orders. Our final amount is actually going to be $4,384,000. We have not exceeded the original contract amount. We have changed manholes. There were some manholes that we saw that were originally going to be CIPP projects, but once we got through them, we saw that they were already done. So we added some more manholes to this project. This isn't increasing the original contract amount. It's actually still under that. It's just showing that this is gonna be the added amount on top of y'all's other change orders. So there were some subtractions in your previous change orders, and this just shows what each one's gonna be added on that.
So we started out with 5.6 million,
Yes, sir.
and then the work came in at 4.3 million.
If y'all approve these change orders, it's gonna be 4.3 million total. We're under that right now,
Okay,
but these next three
Did you
change
want-
orders are.
yeah.
Brent can
okay.
speak on that.
Thank you,
Yes,
Brent.
sir.
Thank
So
you.
the award
you.
came in at 5.6 million.
The award did, the original award.
That's correct.
Okay,
However, the net amount, considering all the change orders to date, would be 4.3 million. So we're under the award amount
Mhm.
because we had areas where when we went in and televised these areas, we realized that some of the lines were already rehabilitated, but we had some areas that needed point repairs, which means we had to open cut as opposed to do it without opening. So we got a credit for that amount of about 2,395,000.
so let me ask you this, Brent.
Yes, sir.
What happens to that 2,395,000?
We're allocating that money to areas that were alternate bid items. So these were not base bid items. These were areas that we didn't have enough in the contract to do. So now that we have an additional 2.3 million that's available, we're taking it to address these areas.
Okay, so this council and this community will need to follow that 2.395 million. So in other words, and I get what you're saying. So let's say there is an extra sidewalk that can be done. I'm just throwing out a job. Let's say 2 million of that goes to sidewalk repair. What I think we would like to see and what the community would need to see is us saying, oh, hey, we did an extra sidewalk.
Okay.
It cost us 2 million. And if you remember, we had 2.3 from this other
Yes.
project. It's easier for us to track,
I
if that makes
understand.
sense. Yes,
'Cause I
sir.
actually have a breakdown here with the original contract amount and every single change order and how that change order was, whether it was an addition or deduction, which is how I was able to arrive at the total to date, including those change orders that are about to be processed of 4.38. And we still have about 1 point something million on the table that we're gonna come back to council to say, hey, we still have some money. We want to take care of some more manholes.
Sure. Gotcha. Council, do we have any, and I assume before I open this to council, the same story is going to be for 5.4, 5, and 5.5, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Council, do we have any questions for Shannon or for Brent on item 5.3?
Yeah, I do have a question.
ma'am.
What is your title again, Shannon?
As of right now, I'm the interim public works director. I'm filling in at the moment.
The interim public
Yes,
director,
ma'am.
okay. And I know we had some manholes that the spelling was incorrect. What is the plan for that?
So we actually got that corrected. They, I went at the meeting that was brought up to me, I went with our contractors, and so they made a stamp and they went out to those manholes that we knew about. They are checking more to make sure that there's no more out there like that, so we have got that corrected.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you,
No
Ms.
problem.
Shannon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor Pro
Yes, sir.
Tem.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Brent, this allocation of the 5.6 million, if I'm correct, this is one of the GLO
That is
the
correct.
disbursements
Yes.
awards that we had.
That is correct.
And having said that, the amendments, of course, you wouldn't be bringing them had they not been approved by the GLO.
So what we're changing is these all were included in the performance statement.
Okay,
Which we're not making an amendment, we're not adding manholes that were not looked at.
okay,
The way the project was bid, there was base bid items which we determined that we could afford at the time.
right.
And then there were alternate items which we like, well, if the bids come in low, we would address those items. So essentially, because some of the infrastructure had already been rehabilitated, we now have the opportunity to use that extra money to address those items which were alternate items.
Okay, so the language of the original use for the GLO was expansive enough to cover these particular changes, change orders
Yes.
that we
because it
have here.
was Citywide.
Okay.
And we had approximately 685 manholes citywide. And we divided these into different areas. I think it was about 6 areas.
Right.
And that's why we were able to address them without having to go back to the GLO and say, hey, we're making.
And to follow up on the comment that the mayor was saying, it's important for us to know those categories that were included in the original GLO approval,
Yes.
so that we're not here following some sort of false hope. Oh, we're going to get sidewalks here or something. It is
Right.
that blueprint that was originally approved in the GLO. So that would just remember that at least we highlight those
Right.
categories in the
Yeah,
future.
these are specifically allocated to sanitary sewer repair, and we can't change it to anything else.
Exactly, because I've had that experience in my past
Yes,
to
we're
get
very-
tagged.
Yeah,
and-
so.
and I don't want that.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I should have explained that.
Mhm.
We're very much aware of that, and by no means, the GLO will allow us to do that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Ross?
I just want to say thank you. I meant to bring it up last meeting, but thank you for going out there and getting those fixed as
Yeah.
fast as y'all
Yes,
did.
sir, no
because
problem.
It was
Yeah.
really quick that.
Yeah. No problem.
Mr. Lowry, did you have a comment? Questions?
No, sir.
Very good. Council, if there's nothing further on item 5.3, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item 5.4, change order number 7, sanitary sewer rehabilitation, authorizing change order number 7 for the citywide sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, resulting in a contract increase of $38,200. Shannon?
Yes, sir. This is just a next change order.
Okay.
So it's the same information.
Same information.
Yes, sir. This one and the following one on number 8 is just an increase on those different jobs.
Educate all of us, including our community. Why then are they broken down into three different agenda items? Yeah, we're just trying to get as much information
No,
as
sir,
we
I
can to the
understand.
people.
So
Yes,
we,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I apologize. So these are different scope items.
Yeah.
Some of
Okay.
them are for concrete, some of them are for a different area altogether. Like I said, we broke these manholes into different areas in the city. I think it was about 6 areas. So as we bring in new areas that we want to address, we use one change order to address these areas, because if we try to spread it into different areas, it gets confusing.
Sure.
And we can't
Yeah.
track it. So that's why these change orders are broken up into 3 separate change orders. for
Understood.
Different scope.
Yes, sir.
Understood. Trying to
Yeah.
get information to the people. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just for purposes, once again, for clarity, the greatest number of manholes that are being impacted and what would be the word, revitalized by this particular allocation of funding is in what part of the city?
I'm not sure if there is I think they're just spread out throughout the city. We've picked the ones that were on the original scope plan that we saw that were in the worst conditions. They would be in, most of them probably would be in District D, I would make the assumption, because we've done a lot of work over there, and I've seen a lot of manholes that are still brick manholes in that area. I would have to spread out and look at the map. I haven't had a chance to do that yet and just kind of pinpoint. But I do know with these scope of work, they are going to be spread out. We haven't like allocated them in like different, like a certain area at this moment.
And the importance of manhole updates, as you've explained previously, your previous
Yes, sir.
Public Works, is it prevents that overflow of heavy rain
Yes, sir.
that overwhelms our sewer system.
Yes, sir, and our treatment plant. So it
And the
does
treatment.
prevent the I&I inflow and infiltration, and it does stop a lot of the overflows we see in the manholes and repairing a lot of that. It does stop the excess water we get during rainfall at the treatment plant, and then a lot of these backups we get called out on it. With these new manhole lids, also it prevents. We have those bolts on them that they're bolted and gasketed down where there is. You won't see any overflows on these new manholes unless it's directly upstream from a lift station and it's pumping at that time, kind of I mean, that pressure is greater than the gasket pressure, so, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Very good. Any further questions before we call for the motion on item 5.4? Mr. Lowry, any questions?
No, sir.
Very good. I will entertain a motion on item 5.4.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 5.5, change order number 8, sanitary sewer rehabilitation, authorizing change order number 8 for the city-wide sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, resulting in a contract increase of $382,873.75. Shannon, I think we need a little more detail on this larger number.
Yes, sir. So with that one, it's gonna be, I'm sure Brent could also come up here and verify what I'm about to say, but it's, we're just adding more repair work. There's gonna be a little more manholes done with this one. There's gonna have to be more cutting done, lining of the manholes, and so it's the increased number is just because of the amount we're adding onto this one.
So the amount of manholes, or did we discover more work in the existing targeted manholes?
No,
It's a combination. There's a greater amount of manholes, and what we've seen in doing this job from what we've done is that in some cases the manholes are deeper, and we require replacing more concrete around the top of these manholes. So taking that into consideration, that's why this number is significantly higher than the other two change orders, because we anticipate that that's how much we're gonna spend to rehabilitate a greater amount of manholes.
Brent, are those the ones that are deemed unable to open in the
Yes, sir.
breakdown?
yes, sir. Yeah, there.
Yes, so some of these manholes, when we did our assessment, we were unable to open these manholes because the tops were sealed, rusted, and you really couldn't open it. So we couldn't assess those manholes. Worst case scenario, we determined we may have to replace the manhole.
Yeah.
So we're putting the money in there so that we won't come back to you for a subsequent change order to say, hey, we missed something. So we're just covering our bases essentially.
And it's gonna be a $145,000 of that amount that you've seen is actually gonna be for those unable to open manholes. So we've added that extra in there as stated.
Very good. Council, any questions for Shannon or Brent on item 5.5?
No, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry. Ms. Yancey?
I just want you to clarify what is a manhole and what are the purposes for manholes, so people will know.
Yes, ma'am. So the manholes are, they hold all our sanitary sewer. We actually have some stormwater manholes. There's kind of just a holding basin as it's moving downstream to the wastewater treatment plant. They keep just the water flowing, so it's not overflowing into houses. They help prevent that. The importance of course, fixing them. We have a lot of manholes in our system that have holes on the side of them. When it rains, we have a lot of inflow that overloads our system. When we have a lot of backup calls and we have a lot of overflowing manhole lids, you can see them on the streets. So that's because of those bad manholes. When we've looked in our system, we do have a lot of break manholes out there, which were, those were built, I would have to guess, probably back in the 60s, maybe even earlier than that. They were one of the original manholes that were put out there. So they replacing them. I do know, I can tell you all this, having worked at the wastewater treatment plant, our original average flow about 5 years ago was close to 3 million gallons a day. And now we're at 1.5 million gallons a day for an average flow. So we've seen an improvement in our system with a lot of this work we've done recently. And we just continue to improve on that.
So some of the backups that we saw on Duro and District A, will those be fixed now?
I can't promise that they'll be fixed. I can say it's getting better because we still have a lot of manholes out there. We have improved a lot, some of our lift stations. Some of those backups were caused by our lift stations. We had a lot of old lift stations that the wind would start blowing the wrong way and they would start surging out and then and they would just be down until we got out there and fixed them. But a lot of that has improved. So, but these manholes, the ones we are fixing, have improved. I can say that I have seen a decrease in sewer callouts. When I look at our guys' overtime sheets, they're not going out as much as they used to go out since we have started this project.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Two quick items.
Yes, sir.
I would request, and I don't know if y'all are doing it or not, but historically, uh, I love to see photographs of the brick lined manholes. That also gives us a perspective of the before and the after. This is what it was, this is what we're doing now. So that's number one.
Yes, sir.
And as to the Duro issue, Councilmember Yancey, that's not so much the manhole, that's a collapse in the sewer line that's over there.
Yes.
That's running
correct.
underneath.
Yes, sir.
On,
Yeah,
on that side. And that would take a significantly more amount of dollars there.
that is correct. Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Mr. Ross?
Sir.
Very good. We will call for the motion. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is that a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, council, we are back to item 1 and item 2, and I suspect that it is that we shouldn't put the cart before the horse. And what I mean by that is I believe that it is appropriate for us to recess into executive session to have a discussion on how we want to go about a city manager's search to understand that clearly. And then that will dictate what happens to the interim city manager's position without objection.
Sounds good.
Very good. Ms. Nance, what time is it?
10:39.
10, it's right there in my face, isn't it? You use the same clock that I can see. All right. It's too early in the morning. We are recessing at 10:39 from our special meeting into our executive session meeting. Are we ready for Mr. Lowry to move in the back as well? Very, very good. We'll stand in recess. Welcome. We are back from our executive session. Let's move now. Mr. Booth? Are you with me? Mr. Booth?
Sure.
Would you like us, or would you advise us to act under line 7, which is actions taken from executive session, or would you like us to move back to 5.1 and 5.2? What's your recommendation?
Either's okay. You can just do actions following executive session. It's fine.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Kara? You good? All right. All right. We're going to do now actions that will be taken from executive session. There are 3. I will at some point entertain a motion on the criteria, time frame, qualifications, initial vetting committee, council vetting committee. I will entertain a motion outlining all of those things. The second motion that I will entertain is the motion to name an interim city manager. The third motion I will entertain will be a motion that will bring Mr. Pritchett current in any monies, any salaries that would be owed to him from January 14th, right? Is that when you started, January 14th? In the
13th, yes.
January 13th. Any salaries owed to Mr. Pritchett from January the 13th until now that he did not receive. And this is in his role as acting city manager. So those are the 3 motions that I will entertain. I will entertain that first motion about process, time frame, qualifications, and search committee. Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor, I would move and urge the council to accept a process with regard to the hiring of a permanent city manager for the city of Lamarque. That process would immediately set forth the following qualifications. We're looking for an individual with a master's degree and or 5 years municipal government experience. The timeframes set forth in this search would be through first an appointment of a 2-member ad hoc committee.
Vetting, two council members.
2-member council committee to initially vet the applicants and to submit a list of no less than 10 of those applicants to the entire council to pursue a second vetting with a goal of coming up with a final list of 3 candidates. And then Mayor, let me see if I got covered all the items. Oh, I'm sorry. The process from today, the search would be initially submission of resumes for a 45-day period, after which these resumes or the replies would be reviewed by the 2-member committee. I think I've covered everything in these, my
So,
notes.
sir, I just want to make sure the opening date would have been today for
Today.
45 days.
Whenever we vote, which would be today.
Oh, Mayor, I neglect to say that the goal for hiring a new city manager, permanent city manager, would be begin May 1st of 2025.
Very good. Let's, are you done, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir, that's.
Let's outline this,
Let me add something to that. He said to begin, but we want to make sure that we want to hire by May 1st, not to begin the job.
The naming by May
naming by
1st,
May
not
1st.
necessarily the actual start date.
Right, I just kind of.
Giving that person a chance to
Flexibility.
relocate.
Right.
Okay, okay.
To hire, to name a
I,
person by May
I
1st.
will amend accordingly, yes.
So what that looks like is the application for city manager being open now, that it will run 45 days. It will close after the 45th day. There will be two of us. Do you want to name the two?
Mayor, may I also include in my motion that Councilmember Joseph Lowry and Councilmember Kimberly Yancey be our council reps for purposes of the initial vetting. I
Why do
think
you
it's
want it to
part
be a
of it.
separate motion?
Mine hasn't been seconded yet.
I'm gonna rework all of that.
Yeah. Okay. So while you're doing that, so that we are entirely clear, the posting will be open today. It will run for 45 days. The major qualifications, there are all sorts of qualifications that are specific to the role of city manager in our government within the state of Texas, though we stipulate to those that we would want to announce to the public will be a master's degree and or 5 years of municipal government experience. At the end of that 45th day, we are acting right now, if we vote for it, we are acting to appoint a two-person committee from our council. That committee will be Councilwoman District A, Kimberly Yancey, Councilman District C, Joseph Lowry, to vet all applications that we receive by the 45th day, simply to determine whether or not they meet the qualifications. That's all they're doing. From the 45th day, I believe one of the things that you failed to mention, Mayor Pro Tem, is that this council will contract, and we will be transparent about it. We'll contract a small firm to help us vet those applicants. Things that we should not be doing, credit history, background checks, things of that nature. That firm will then vet those 10 persons and simply return those that meet qualifications and that are still eligible. From there, the council will choose 3 to interview. Making a selection by May 1st, 2025. Is that right, Ms. Yancey? Did it sound a little more organized to you? Okay. That's the motion. Did I leave anything out, council? Very good. That is Joe's motion, right, Joe?
Yes,
I don't want to speak too much for you. Is that your motion?
That's the motion, yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item 2, I will entertain a motion to simply name an interim city manager who will be the interim city manager until the permanent city manager starts. It will be after the naming of the permanent city manager. It will go into the start date of that city manager. I'm sorry, Ms.
Sorry.
Yancey.
Go ahead.
That person will receive the starting salary of former manager Cesar Garcia. They will be compensated with whatever that, I believe it was 130 some odd $1,000, whatever that starting salary was, and all of the benefits associated with it. That person will receive those compensations until a permanent city manager is named. I will entertain a motion for the naming of an interim city manager.
I'd like to make a motion for Randall Aragon for interim.
Very good. Is there a second on Mr. Randall Aragon?
Second.
Very good. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Nay. Motion fails 2-3. I will entertain a motion for another name for interim city manager.
I make a motion that we nominate Deputy Manager Joshua Pritchett for interim manager.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Is that 3-1 or is that 4-1?
I'm just abstaining.
You abstaining? That is 3-1 with Mayor Pro Tem abstaining. Thank you, council. We are now at the,
What was Joseph's vote?
Joseph was a nay. Is that right, Mr. Lowry?
Correct.
Very good, thank you. We are now entertaining if there are any monies that were not, that Mr. Pritchett did not receive from January the 13th until now. Are there any monies that you didn't receive? Let's be clear. Well, I want to just put that on the record. Very good. Now, what
Yes,
we're
sir.
talking about, council, is any monies from his previous position as deputy city manager to the starting salary of former manager Garcia. That's the gap that we're trying to bridge. He's done the work. And certainly we don't want to get in a situation where we have not compensated him for that. So that would be approximately 3 weeks. Would that be 3 weeks? Okay. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Let me say this about Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. While he is abstaining in the previous motion, I wanted to applaud him for bringing this to our attention. Perhaps we have not compensated Mr. Pritchett in his role as interim. So I wanted to cite that as a council continuing to work together. That's a wonderful thing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, guys.
Mayor, I have a question,
Yes, sir.
for that. Obviously, it wasn't part of the motion, just for staff and myself, for continuity. For instance, if another city manager, a permanent city manager, what does that mean for my current role? And what does that mean for my current salary? Because I was told October 1 for it to change. And I guess I less care about that due to where I sit in a personal setting outside of the city of Lamarck. But what does that mean for continuity come May 1st? Is that a rollback to deputy, or is that it was nice knowing you?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You are the interim. Yeah. I get, yeah.
I don't want
No.
to operate in
Yeah.
a sense of ambiguity.
Yeah. Let's be clear. I know where you're going with this, and that's a good point. You are the interim. We have asked and appointed you to a temporary role that you are accepting on a temporary basis. If in fact there is a city manager name and that city manager, a permanent city manager name, then that city manager is not you. You will, until a new city manager comes in and makes a determination, you will resume your prior role.
Okay, that's
Right.
just clarification. I was
Now,
wanting.
if city manager can come in because we don't have any administrative duties.
That
Let's
I
be
fully
clear.
understand. That I fully
A city
understand.
manager can come in and within 5 seconds of
Unlike the way I breathe. I
you-
get that.
right.
Yes, sir.
But if it's not you, we'll put you back where we found you.
That's all.
And then it's up to the city manager.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Robert, did I say that in a way that's reflective?
That's correct.
Very good. All right. Did I answer you? All right. Council, we are at now item 8, request announcements. Requests and announcements. Council, let's keep our focus. We're doing good work today. Let's keep our focus on things forward in requests and announcements. I'm not going to go person by person. I do know that Mr. Ross asked to make a request. If there are any others after Mr. Ross, you may do so. Mr. Ross.
It was brought to our attention that there are some pay discrepancies throughout the city, and we appreciate you bringing that to our attention back there. If you could get us a hierarchy list and where the discrepancies are for a follow-on meeting so that we can fix those pay discrepancies, that would be much appreciated.
Anyone else?
Just congratulations to our deputy manager. Thank you, for accepting, because you didn't have to. And we'll definitely be praying for you and to our staff, going forward, as we, accomplished a lot last year, in the last couple of years. And so we wholeheartedly hope that that continues. This is Black History Month. I encourage you all to, attend some of the activities. I believe they are looking to reschedule the Martin Luther King parade. I'm not sure exactly what date that's going to be yet, but as soon as we get that information, I'll bring that back to council. But just encouraging us to celebrate all of our American history and participate in some of the activities that are happening around our city. Thanks so much.
Very good. Anyone else?
Yeah, as a representative for District C, I'd like to bring up the ditches being cleaned out, dredged out. Thank you to Mr. Garcia. He did trench or dig out the culverts, hundreds of feet. So congratulations, Mr. JB, on your new interim position. If you could please see to it that the ditches in District C get cleaned out as soon as possible, that would be great. We've had not so much as a shovel of dirt moved out of these ditches, to my knowledge. So that is utmost importance of the citizens in District C and probably the city as a whole. So if you could please work on that and then give me an update at the next council meeting on how many feet have been dug out in District C. I understand that the culverts were done. However, if we don't have a proper flow to the culverts, it's kind of doesn't do an effective purpose. So if you could please prioritize that, it would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. I know that we have gone back and forth since Friday via email. If you have a list of specific ditches or a list that was compiled before, if you can forward that to me, I will work with Public Works to try to dig that up. But as we stated, I don't know what those ditches are as of hand, but I will definitely work with Public Works to try to dig up any information. But if that is something that you have on hand to help hurry along that process, we will do so.
Yeah, I'll make it easy for you, but everything was turned in through the request tracker, but everything along Austin and Houston would be a good start. So, and that's everything along Austin.
Yes, sir.
Was that it, Mr. Lowry?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, I just wanted to, I certainly applauded Mayor Pro Tem for his gesture earlier. I want to also express my gratitude to Councilwoman Yancey, Councilwoman Kimberly Yancey, and Councilmember Joseph Lowry for agreeing to work together as the council's representative to receive applications along with Ms. Nance. I believe this is a critical time for our city. I believe that, we can do a tremendous amount of work moving forward, and we can heal a lot of things in our city with just this simple gesture. Didn't know that they both would accept, but they did. And that says a lot about the opportunity that we have before us. Wanted to also request that Ms. Nance, Mr. Pritchett, whomever would be involved communications, that we at least for the next quarter, if not beyond, even permanently, now that I'm thinking about it, that we find a way or place on our website to list the city, the charter, our city charters, um, delineation of the duties of a city manager, as well as the roles and the responsibilities of a city manager in our policy handbook. Anytime there is change, there is concern. And there are folks that, when made aware of the change, believe change is good. And then there are folks that when they're made aware of change, they become concerned about the change. And all of it's human, all of it's normal, right? I believe, though, that all of us have the same opportunity to do the same job. I believe that if we provide our residents, and I know it's provided elsewhere, but if we provided our residents in one place with the roles and responsibilities of a city manager, with the charter's delineation of the duties of a city manager, then there's a possibility for there to be more than just 5 evaluators of a city manager. We can expand the evaluation process to 20,000 bosses that each city manager ultimately in this city that they would have. And if our citizens would have the opportunity to look at the roles and responsibilities of a city manager, and then through following meetings, through FOIA requests, and through other due diligences, I believe they would be able to arrive themselves at their own opinion on whether or not the city manager that we would have at the time would be doing an adequate job or perhaps would need further direction. And I say this because I want us all to be able to take part, not necessarily in the selection process, but in the evaluation process. And I found through these last weeks and months that many of our citizens have a lot to say about how we go about evaluating our city manager. And so we want to find ways to help them to do exactly what we are here doing, right? As their elected representatives. We want them to have the same information that we have so that we can have discussions that will be fruitful based in the framework of what we ought to be expecting. That's not to say anything good or bad about any city manager that we've had previous. It's not to say anything good or bad about Mr. Pritchett. It's simply an offering for a tool that would help give us more information so that we can become more educated in the machinations and the operations of our very own city government. So if we would do that, Ms. Nance, Mr. Pritchett, I think that would go a long way in helping our public understand exactly what city managers do and how we would go about evaluating them. Thank you. There's nothing further. We will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned.